Chat, I have to admit something. I'm really fucking nervous. So, tomorrow I'm going to a music festival, but also tomorrow my friend is having a party. And it's a friend from, I guess, the period of my life where I crashed out. And to be honest, when I had my crash out and when I moved out of DC, I basically just erased myself. I think in trying to be like the best person, the perfect person, I wasn't a good person to really anyone in that period of my life, and most importantly myself. And I really just needed like a time out from my own life is what I felt like. I didn't think I'd ever go back to that life and society, and I wouldn't say that I like am completely. I'm like not moving back to DC. I'm not working the same job I used to. I'm not living the exact same life I used to, but I don't know. I guess honestly, I just really didn't expect to see some of these people ever again. And now I am, and I'm nervous. But I'm trying my hardest to, like, I'm trying to hold space and acknowledge and validate my own feelings of being nervous, but also something that my therapist and I have really been working on is self-trust. And I think if this opportunity has shown up, then that means maybe it's time for me to show up in my own life again. I've essentially taken a year off from my own life, from a life completely, not completely. Every so often I've gone out, made friends, but like, I don't know. I haven't really been living per se, just mostly reconfiguring and refiguring myself out. But, these tools and these skills are not useful in isolation. I guess, I don't know. I think, honestly, I'm just really nervous. And so I'm calling an emergency meeting. This episode is absolutely out of order. It's not what I was planning on uploading, but I feel very strongly about this, and I wanted to get this message out and post it before I resumed with usual normal scheduled programming. But now that I've said it and now that I've put it out there, I feel a lot better about it. Yeah, I'm really nervous. I'm seeing old friends, old love interests. Nothing interesting there. I'm pretty sure that that person is in a relationship, and like, I really just have not checked in on this. I've not really talked to most of these people in a really, really, really fucking long time. It's not like the group of girls that I had mentioned previously. It's a different set of friends from DC. But yeah. It's a lot going on internally, but getting it out feels nice. And I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm not even on a walk right now. I'm just laying in my bed. I was ruminating on it a bit, but then I was like, no, we need to just like bite the bullet and show up and show out and move on and live life from there. And that's that. This is myself interjecting from the future as I'm editing. I just listened to this clip and I forgot what I had said originally. I remembered how I felt, but now I think I can verbalize it a little better, I guess. a decent amount of the nervousness is putting myself in a position where I'm forced to take accountability for essentially just running away and abandoning this life and these connections. I do think it definitely probably hurt. Like, I think it affected people to varying degrees. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm so important, I'm like the linchpin of society, but I think it's also important to acknowledge that you are important, and sometimes when you disappear without an explanation, that does hurt people's feelings. That was a lesson that I had to learn. I guess my self-esteem and my sense of self-worth at the time when I left was so low that I thought, or I felt like, I could leave and I should leave and it wouldn't affect anyone, and that's not true. So the party's officially over. The party's been over for a while, and I had to take the metro and then drive back home, and I've just now made it home. I have lots of thoughts and feelings and emotions, and this felt like the natural conclusion to the first half of this message. I feel like the song that I'm hearing in my head right now is Time Heals All by Don Toliver. The opening line where he goes, you know, time heals all. I can't sing, but like, you can look up the song. I think another thing that I feel like is coming to me is like, you really are the container of all versions of yourself at all times. They never totally go away. They never fully die. You always carry those versions of yourself in you at all times. They never fully disappear. I guess they can be brought back in the correct context, in the correct time. It was really bittersweet seeing these people. I know one feeling I felt immediately was just like gratitude and love for these people. They were so warm and welcoming to me, and they provided a community to me at one point in my life when I really wanted it and really needed it. But also being in Washington, D.C. again, it was my first time even taking the metro and properly walking around the city since I had moved out of it, was weird. It was weird because it wasn't right. And at one point it was all I wanted. And at one point it was what I lived and what I had, and really odd to go back to a place where you used to feel so strongly about, it was like back when I lived in Boston, all I wanted was to move to Washington, D.C., and I wanted to be friends with these people, and I wanted to be part of this community. And then when I got there, it wasn't what I expected, and not in a bad way. I'm grateful for my time in Washington, D.C., and I also wouldn't be who I am and where I am now without that period of my life. But it's weird to look back on something you used to want so badly and realize you genuinely don't want it anymore. Another feeling that I left with is I don't want to be in a relationship right now, and I honestly don't know if I will ever want to be in a relationship. I don't want to spend the time getting emotionally invested into people, and I feel like that sounds really bad of me to say, but I love my friends. I love emotionally investing into my friends, and I love emotionally investing in myself, but it just hurts so much more when it's romance. I feel like I can hear my therapist saying that this is an opportunity to develop self-trust because it's something that you fear, but you should also know that you have the ability to confront. But also, I don't know. I was expecting to see someone who I don't want to talk about it. We'll put a pin in that. But I was expecting to see someone and I didn't, and I think it's maybe, I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but it doesn't matter. I didn't see him, so it's okay. I was, for most of the night, bracing to see him. And ultimately, I didn't. Also, I got to watch the Knicks win, which was wonderful. I want to say, well, the Knicks won, so go Knicks. Knicks in 5. Woohoo! I am the reason the Knicks won. I'm kidding. I'm not the reason the Knicks won, but I just wanted to say that. I kind of feel like that for whatever reason. It was really weird going to New York almost a month ago on the dot, and then going back to Washington, D.C. for the first time properly since I moved out. It's a lot of versions of myself folding and collapsing in on each other and meeting each other and confronting each other, and it feels like a lot of work, but it no, it doesn't feel like a lot of work. It feels like it feels like I'm acknowledging all the work that I've done on myself in the past year and change, which is a really odd feeling because I feel like I have so much more work to do. Well, anyway, I don't know. It was really nice to come home. My friends offered me places to stay, and I was really grateful for that. But also, I was genuinely really excited to come home and come home to my family and my house and my bedroom, and I don't know. I feel really weird and really sad, and I feel so much softer than before. I feel like before I used to be such a hard person. I used to have such a hard shell, and like I feel so weird and so emotional right now and today, and I would blame it on my period, but my period literally just wrapped up, so it's not my period. So it's just me. I feel so weird, and I like want to cry, but the tears won't come out. In a really weird way, this is making me it's like making me realize how ungrateful I was for the people in my life when I was in Boston. I guess I was always treating them like there was something better and they weren't good enough, and I wasn't happy because I wasn't willing to let myself be happy. And that makes me feel really apologetic to the people who were in my life when I lived in Boston. And that makes me acknowledge that I was the problem. Yes, in this era of my life, I was definitely my own biggest problem. Happiness was right in front of my face. All of these people really wanted to get to know me and wanted me to be happy and wanted to be there for me. I think most people are good people. You have to choose to be happy. Things may not look exactly the way you think they should, but also what you think might be what you might equate with happiness. Once you attain it, it might not be all that happy. This feels a bit like a cautionary tale and a cautionary note I must move forward into the next chapter of my life with. Because there are things that I think I want so badly, but now I feel a bit apprehensive and cautious about wanting them so bad, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't really plan or expect myself to make a trip to Boston anytime soon. But I did see some of my Boston friends when I was in New York, and I feel like I was so ungrateful when they were in my life, and really they were all wonderful people, and I should not have behaved the way I did. Life is weird. I don't know what comes next. That's what the scary thing is. I know what I think I want to come next, and I think I will attain it. But I feel like there's a really big leap of faith that I'm either taking or I'm about to take, or I don't know, but like I just don't know for certain what is happening next. And that's how I felt for a while, but I especially particularly feel it now in these moments. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know anything. Okay, you know what? It's the next day now, and I have had some time to sleep on it and think and just like feel it all out and figure as much as I can out. At the moment, I think what I'm feeling is this sense of there's no going back. Even if I wanted to go back to my old life in Washington, D.C., that life doesn't exist anymore. That universe doesn't exist anymore. That timeline doesn't exist anymore. At least not in the exact same way. It still exists within me in memory, in my memories, but people have left, new people have come in, and it just feels different. There's just a sense of like, there's no going back, even if I wanted to. And I don't think I do. But at the same time, I don't know what exactly lies ahead. I can have all these ideas, I can have all these thoughts. I can be anxious and try and control what comes next, but also the last time I did that, I ended up so unhappy. So this time it's really just like, I said this to myself internally in a moment of privacy earlier, but I'm hoping if I say this aloud, maybe this will resonate with other people and maybe myself in a different way. But I took a moment to acknowledge everything I desire, everything I think I desire, and really just like surrender it. Envisioned the details of what I think / thought I wanted out of my life, or what my life should look like, or what I would equate with the ultimate perfect version of my life. And then I just surrendered it and let it go. And nothing is ever final, and nothing is ever like perfect, but did feel meaningful and significant in some way. Like, it feels more than just like a chapter ending. It properly feels like a book in the series of books of my life has ended. but I don't know what comes next. I haven't, maybe I am now, maybe I have started the next book, but I'm not far enough in yet to know what the plot looks like or what's going to happen. I just have an idea, but I don't know. I haven't read the book. And that's like a interesting feeling, I guess. I knew that yesterday essentially was like I socialized from 2 to 2, basically. And like I knew that was going to take one out of me. And I'm really recovering it from it today, right now. I like genuinely have not done a single thing except for talk into this phone, eat some food, brush my teeth, and continue to just lay. I'll probably get up and start some homework, or maybe I'll put this video together, but for now, up to this point, I've just really wanted to rest. I don't like even want to leave the house today. I keep thinking maybe I should I want to buy some camera film for my film camera, but I really don't want to leave the house today.